Sometimes the conclusion of a film makes each and every second of the watch worthwhile. IRATTA is that movie. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel guys, and right now I will be sharing my thoughts on the Jojo George starrer Malayalam film IRATTA, which is currently streaming on Netflix. I don't know if you're aware of this candy, Pulse Kacha Aam. It looks something like this. When it was launched, it was a raging success and it still is. It sells a lot. Now, the speciality of this candy is not the taste. It tastes great, but that's not its speciality. It is actually the filling in the center of this candy and the instant boost of taste that it suddenly gives in the end. One actually consumes this candy for that last bite because that's where the real deal is. Watching IRATTA gives you that same feeling, except that instead of that great taste, you get a great shock. And after the movie ends, your mind is still in shock. The story follows the life of identical twin brothers, Pramod and Vinod, and the only thing common between them is their physical appearance. Otherwise, their behavior is like North and South Pole. When I did the trailer reaction, I had made certain guesses on what the storyline could be, and I was partly correct, where one brother is trying to figure out the murder of the other one, which occurs inside a police station, where both of them are posted. And initially, like any other audience, I thought, okay, so we are getting a revenge murder investigative crime drama. But as the movie progressed, I was, well, proved wrong left, right and center. As we move forward, we find out more about both Pramod and Vinod and why their behavior got shaped the way it did. Though the writing did not show it in much depth, but it did touch upon how childhood trauma can be so detrimental and it kind of never leaves you behind and shapes your entire adult behavior. Pramod is the level-headed brother and Vinod is the wild, uncultured one who doesn't give two hoots about what anyone thinks of his actions. In fact, even he thinks that his actions bear no consequences. But Newton would certainly disagree with Vinod because every action does have an equal and opposite reaction. And we see how Vinod's demons comes back to haunt him in the worst possible way. But in all of this, don't think that Pramod gets left out because he is far from a perfect character. Even though between the two he was the level-headed one, I liked how he was extremely flawed in his own right. He's a man who did not pay heed to his own family, and that karma comes back to bite him in the worst possible way when he finally decides that no, he needs to reunite with his family and what he did was wrong. Rohit Krishnan both wrote and directed this film, and initially I was thinking while watching it that okay, this is a decent enough story, it's going well, the pacing is fine, Jojo George is being awesome, but what will be the point of the conclusion? And when it reached the very end, my entire perspective completely shifted. It made me rethink about every action and every event that happened in this film, which in turn elevated my viewing experience in its entirety. This for me is a story of how certain actions can be so traumatic that it is impossible to redeem yourself. A story of how low a person can stoop and how difficult it would be to come out of that trauma when they realize what they have done. It made me think, was there any other way out of this? If Vinod had not ended up doing what he did, and if Pramod had eventually met his family, then would Pramod have taken a drastic step after finding out everything? Like, was any sort of redemption possible out of this situation? I definitely want to know your opinion and your thoughts on this. When it comes to the technical aspect, I liked the small scale setup, as in nothing was sensational about the film visually. Production wise, the film feels very real and down to earth. Even the BGM is just blending with the visuals seamlessly. Like, I don't really remember any part of the BGM which stood out differently in the film. And this movie needed that. It needed that mellow, dull atmosphere. The edit was interesting because even though the running length of the film was less than 2 hours, nothing really felt rushed. We get enough backstory and context to understand every character's motivation and actions. The jump from past to present is also seamlessly done. This is really not a fast-paced film, but it is also not very slowed down. But in the end, whether you like this film or not, Jojo George's performance is going to stay with you. Him as Vinod, as well as Pramod, were just perfect, and I'm literally, yes, using the word perfect. The way he has embodied both the characters, you really end up feeling two different and two very distinct and extreme emotions for both Pramod and Vinod. I mean, him as Pramod was great, but as Vinod, his acting was exceptional. The entire do not care attitude, the childhood trauma showing up on his face, the demeanor, the body language, and the ending realization of what he has done. All of it was just phenomenally shown. In the end, I want to conclude that this is a movie which makes it to the finish line at the nick of time, where you feel that, okay, this is just an ordinary movie, but how it ends takes it to that extraordinary level. So yes, that is how I would describe my experience of watching IRATTA, and I want to know your thoughts in the comments below. And that was my review, and with that I will end this video here. Hope you guys enjoyed watching this video, and I will see you soon on my next one. Bye.